I saw a tweet, Barnes. Judge is going to be back. It's okay. Just needs to rest.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port, coming in hot on a Friday.
Hell yeah, man.
We got Tony, we got Jay, we
What's
got
up, everybody?
Michael,
What's
we
going
got
on?
Renee, we got Manny, we got Matthew floating around somewhere.
No,
and of course,
no,
you got me, also known as Barnes.
Floating around.
Yeah, you
How's
see
everybody
me.
doing?
Pretty okay, dude.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling great. I woke up
It's a great Friday.
this morning, and it's funny because I didn't think about this until I texted you guys at 5:55, which is crazy. I noticed it, and I look at the text in the old sports, and I said, it's pretty quiet here.
Yeah.
I think something negative happened for them,
Something happened.
and
last
I
night.
look at the score.
Something not so chill
and
happened
Brodeur
last night, Michael.
Jr. a
Mhm.
shutout, 4-0. I mean, I woke up happy. I had to just say that.
Right.
There's so much to talk about, and we'll get to that, down the road. But let's actually just start first before we talk. We're going to go to the NFL draft, but before we do that, I just wanted to update everybody.
Ooh.
Mexico Open at Vidanta. Right now, fresh off a 63 yesterday, Austin Smotherman leading at 8 under par. And then Michael's pick, Tony Finau, 7 under, sitting in second.
Let's go, Tony
I'm
Finau.
just a winner right now.
Tied with
Follow
Eric
me and
Van
we will win.
Ruin and Tano Goya. John Rahm, 4 under, so he's 4 shots back of the lead. And then Michael Kim, 5 shots back at 3 under. So everybody under par here. Seems like a very, gettable course. A couple blow-ups. You look at the bottom here. Steve Jurgensen shot 79 yesterday, and then Bo Weekley shot 78, in addition to Ricky Barnes at 78.
Wow.
So most of the field well under par, but obviously you have a couple
jacking.
you got a couple of people struggling at the bottom.
There's a laugh.
We'll give you an update, at the end of the
Only Brian can
show.
make me laugh, not you.
But let's go now to the world of the National Football League.
6 for 101, 2 touchdowns. Uh-oh. To Evans. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. How about that throw? Sam Darnold blasted. Oh, my goodness. Did he take a hit? In trouble once. Brings him down. Lost one for Odell Beckham Jr. Got it down. Touchdown.
Some new bites coming in hot.
Yeah, dude, I've been working hard.
So obviously last night, first round of the 2023 NFL draft. Starting at the top, we talked about the Panthers making that big move. At this point, I want to say it was about 6 weeks ago, trading for the number 1 overall pick. And they end up going with Bryce Young, who, I would say out of all the time since last year's draft, he was most talked about at number 1, but we know a couple guys, slid in and out of that conversation. But they end up going with Bryce Young. The production was unbelievable at Alabama. So I think they sided with that over the uncertainty about C.J. Stroud, who was actually picked number 2 by the Texans. So they get their Deshaun Watson replacement finally. And he was, highly productive at Ohio State, but just some questions about him reading defenses and stuff like that. But I mean, anytime, you move from college to the NFL, there's going to be a huge adjustment period. So they go that at number 2, and then they actually trade with Arizona, who had the 3rd pick. And they pick up the 3rd overall selection to go Willie Anderson out of Alabama. So they get, the top pass rusher in the draft. And then give up, a first-round pick next year and a couple other picks. So, you look at DeMeco Ryans in his first year as head coach, getting bold here by, having 2 picks.
I
in the
kind of
top
think we
3,
need to be bold.
The leader of his offense, the leader of his defense. So I think that was a smart way to go.
Jay makes me laugh. Not you,
At
Tony.
number
That's okay.
4,
He's my friend.
the Colts
That's okay.
went with
I
Anthony
pretend he's mine.
Richardson. I think he's the kind of biggest boomer bust player in this
Ooh.
draft, and I'm
Wow,
sure
really?
Jim
He's a boomer.
Irsay, just looking for
Wow,
some
he's
spark
old.
at quarterback. They've had a couple guys, in and out the last couple of years. Wentz, Matt Ryan, just to name a couple that haven't worked out. Nick Foles, so they go with the dynamic quarterback who's got some developing to do, but nevertheless, will be a big draw for the Colts next season. And then rounding out the top 5, the Seahawks go with Witherspoon, the cornerback out of Illinois. So you saw Pete Carroll draft his 2 starting corners last year's draft. So now they get a 3rd corner here. So they're loaded in the secondary. So a job well done. So that's what we have for the top 5. And then, I think when you look at it, 3 quarterbacks in the top 5, it's funny. I feel like they're all question marks, even though they all went that high, but nobody's a sure thing.
Yeah. What do you think about Will Levis not being in the top 5?
I didn't like him to.
You think he's a spark, kind of like Zach Wilson? Like he has the good tape. Everyone's really hype on him.
I think that could honestly.
He's kind of in the news a little bit.
Yeah.
So I could see. Oh, that's why he's not even picked yet. So
Brian, favorite pick so far?
Favorite pick so far. I have to. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but I'm actually going to go with the 6th overall pick, Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State. I think that was really important for Arizona to shore up that offensive line.
I think
that's why
very
Kyler
good
was
there.
injured last year and they couldn't run the ball.
Yeah.
Agreed, Barnes. Agreed.
How about like most surprised? What are you most surprised about?
Well,
Don't say the same guy.
no, I'm not going to say the same guy, but if you look at number 12,
Zach Wilson,
that was the most ridiculous pick I've ever seen. Jamar Gibbs, the Alabama running back, projected to be a 2nd-round draft pick. They go number 12 overall. And just typical Lions, but you have DeAndre Swift already there. So I just didn't see the reason, and especially to reach for him, a 5'9" running back. We talked all yesterday about how it just doesn't make sense to take a running back in the first. So especially you reach. I mean, if it was Bijan Robinson who went number 8 to Atlanta, that made sense. If they took him at 12, sure. But to take Gibbs, who wasn't even on the radar, one of those things that makes you scratch your head.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we did literally talk about that yesterday, how you don't need to take a running back early in the draft. Like, they'll be there.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So what do? Take a running back early in the draft.
But maybe, that's why the Lions are the Lions.
That's like the only running back in the first.
Well, Bijan
round,
Robinson was picked at 8.
Bijan.
Falcons, and we talked about that yesterday. So
I like
they're
that name.
going with a big, running attack and committing to Desmond Ridder at quarterback. So that should be interesting to see how Arthur Smith can try to use him in like a Derrick Henry role, which he had so much success with, obviously, when he was the offensive coordinator for the Titans. The Jets go defense once again.
That was surprising to me, too.
I know.
I thought they would go offensive tackle.
I was so.
Or at least some
all the
interior linemen.
receivers were there. I really thought they were going to go receiver, and
This guy's
especially
a beast, though.
Yeah, Will McDonald,
I think he'll be
pass
an
rusher out
asset.
of Iowa State. So obviously, I mean, to have all that beef on the outside, I mean, I think is a good thing. But I just really would have liked to see another receiver. But hey, if he's productive, if you're getting sacks, I mean, we're not going to complain.
I'm not complaining at all. And it's definitely like Robert Saleh's team still, like
Right.
he's
Nice.
like, I
Yeah.
need defense. I'm not going to let defense slide just because everyone's like talking about the offense at the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
There's like videos of this kid like jumping over cars. Like he's an athlete.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's it's not moving.
Right.
But like, it's
But,
like,
yeah,
It's
he
not
literally-
like it's not Blake Griffin like off the hood though. Is it off the hood or
no,
on
it's like he jumps over like a Toyota Corolla.
the top of it though? The
Yeah,
roof.
the roof.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah.
Comments, Brian?
Before we get to those,
Oh,
just a couple more things here. I mentioned the receivers, so nobody was taken till 20, and it was interesting. 2 teams back to back kind of did something similar in terms of loading up with the receivers. So think about the Seahawks; they already have DK Metcalf, they already have Tyler Lockett, but they add to that with Smith and Jigba from Ohio State. Missed all last season with the injury. Explosive wide receiver, so that's a really deep, wide receiver core. And speaking of that, the Chargers, they load up for Justin Herbert. They already have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They go with Quentin Johnston out of TCU. So I think that's a really good move. And obviously, too, with the uncertainty of the Austin Eckler situation, which we think will be worked out, but to give him another weapon, that offense is completely loaded. And believe it or not, we had 2 more receivers taken all consecutively. The only ones in the first round, Flowers out of Boston College went to the Ravens. So we talked about with Lamar, re-signing yesterday. They want to load up at receiver. They have Odell now too. Think about Mark Andrews. So that gives him a lot of weapons. And then Jordan Addison, the wide receiver from USC, the Vikings take him. So you pair him with Justin Jefferson. That's a pretty good combination. Obviously, Adam Thielen no longer in Minnesota. And then at 25, the Giants, I thought they would go wide receiver. I know, we just had that run there, but they go with Banks, the cornerback out of Maryland, who has a lot of hype.
They definitely needed help in the secondary.
Yeah. So Deontay Banks out of Maryland. So I think it's a good move. Obviously, like I said, it's just they're gonna need to do something at receiver. They were kind of thinking, maybe we'll get DeAndre Hopkins, but the Cardinals have committed to him, so he's not gonna go anywhere. So that's another less option for them. Obviously, they can attack the wide receiver position in the subsequent rounds. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention before we get to the comments here, I was surprised.
We're never getting to the comments.
They were talking about, well, first of all, you had the first tight end, Kincaid, go to Buffalo at 26.
Nice.
But right after that, the Cowboys were picking. They have an opening at tight end, because they've had some injuries in that position the last couple of years. And it escapes me who their tight end was. I don't know why I'm blanking. But anyway, they moved on from him, the Cowboys. It was Blake Jarwin, but then the guy right after him. I don't know why I'm blanking on who it is.
Goddard?
No, Goddard is Philadelphia.
That is Philadelphia.
American football tight ends, Dallas Cowboys. Oh, geez, this is like going back in the day, huh?
I'll find it in a second, but all I was going to say is, you have Notre Dame, who's known for, churning out tight ends. You have a blocker and a pass catcher in Michael Meyer.
Jake Ferguson.
Sitting there. No, not him.
You think the Jets will pick
Sean
him up?
McKean, Seth Green.
I want them
Peyton
to do
Hendershot.
that, but I just feel like where they're picking in the second round. I think they're 7-8 picks in. You would think somebody will take them, but they better take them if they we saw them sign 3 tight ends or 1 drafted, 2 free agents, and they still can't get production. So you got to go with a young stud and just give them a shot.
They're keeping around next year for the Jets. Uzama,
but then also
he didn't have a great year.
Conklin's sticking around too.
Uzama was unimpressive.
He was a blocker. He was just like a tight end to block.
Okay, well, he wasn't utilized correctly then.
Yeah, no, he definitely
because he was on the Bengals before, right?
Yeah.
He was good.
He went to the Super Bowl with the Bengals.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And then
before we get to the comments,
right? Everyone lauding the Eagles at 31, taking Nolan Smith, the outside linebacker from Georgia. Some people think the best pass rusher in this draft, so to get him at 31, that's a steal, and we know how good that pass rush was last year, so that that's a really good pick. But then you look at it, first round's over. And Will Levis, like we were saying, some people had him the number 1 player in the draft. Isn't taken in the first round. He had a 0.01% chance of not getting selected in the first round, which is obviously crazy. Also, Joey Porter Jr., the corner from Penn State, son of former Steelers linebacker Joey Porter, wasn't selected as well. The Steelers sitting there with the first pick in the second round. There's a lot of thought that they might go with him. So it was definitely an interesting draft. I think there was 5 offensive tackles taken, a lot of defensive players, the 2 tight ends, the 2 running backs, the 3 quarterbacks. And then you have Hayden Hooker, who people thought, from Tennessee that could have been taken in the first round. So he'll be around.
He's on a knee injury though, right?
Yeah. Very explosive though. There's a lot of projections.
He's a little older too. He's a little more matured. So
yeah,
I feel like he would definitely have a good career in the NFL.
So, there's a lot of options for teams there in the second round, but, it is time, Tony. Let's get to the comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, dude. All right, let's get to the comments. There are a bunch here.
Let's go.
All across the board, starting with Prefer the Habit. He says, Yo, Jay, welcome, bud.
Hey, Prefer. Thanks, dude. I love you.
Appreciate you, buddy.
What'd you say, dude?
I said I love you.
Then we have Matthew Gabriel. I'm not sure who this kid is. Says, J-Man. And he says, what is good, muchachos? Love you, boy, miss ya. Got my DTV swag on hoodie, man, and classic black and white DTV tee. Love it, he says. Going to do backflips down the NCC library. hallways. And then Prefer says the Jets poor picking at the draft for decades.
How
He
about
says.
last year?
New England.
Prefer?
Oh, last year was the best year
Yeah.
in decades.
Plus Quinnen Williams.
True. He was a great pickup.
Yeah.
And then Matthew Gabriel says, how about Lamar? Solid deal. I'm sure we'll get to it. Donna Barnaby coming in here saying, happy Friday, everyone. The sun is shining. And there was a Yankee win last night.
Let's just
Love
get
it.
some good news on Judge. We'll talk about it in a second.
No one cares. Matthew Gabriel says, Ravens versus Jets AFC Championship game. Wow, dude. And then
Bold.
That's a very bold prediction.
Prefer says, last night predictions, I was 2 out of 3. Yanks, Pirates, Braves. Matthew says, are you kidding me with that comment, Prefer?
He also says,
About
"Are you
the
ripped
Jets
before?"
not drafting good. Well, are you all right?
They hit on all 3 of their first rounders
right?
last
Are
year.
you ripped, Prefer?
And then Brees Hall in the second. I mean, that just makes no sense. Plus,
That's true. Oh man, I'm so excited to see him play this year, bro.
I know.
It's gonna be dynamic with Rodgers.
No,
Oh,
you know what
Dynamic,
I
dude.
would love, and I know it's like a
wet
pipe dream,
dreams, Tony.
but I was saying, the uncertainty with Eckler. Could you imagine if they added him to the
That'd be
mix
crazy.
with Brees Hall?
Not
Oh
gonna
my
happen.
god, bro.
I
no
mean,
way,
hey,
dude.
if the Chargers don't want to pay him,
I know.
quick,
I know.
gotta go.
That's a good 1-2 punch. See
Yeah.
that they released Ty Johnson?
Okay, yeah. I mean, he didn't do that much
True,
the last
true.
couple of years.
True.
So you kind of
Yeah, that running back room was kind of like a revolving door.
Yeah, because then who? Oh, and then Bam Knight, I do kind of like though. I have to say,
Is he sticking around?
I kind of think so. I mean, you think about how good he performed last year. I don't see how he's not at least in training camp.
True.
You know?
True.
A couple more comments, Tony.
Yeah, if you want him, dude. Let's see. Matthew
Dalton
Gabriel
Schultz was the
says,
guy I was thinking about, by the way. But I'm trying to think. if
should they trade for Hopkins? The
DeAndre?
Jets, I mean.
The DeAndre
That would be
Hopkins?
nuts.
That would be pretty nuts.
DeAndre steroids Hopkins?
No, he said that he does. They're not going to trade him. They announced it today. So unfortunately, we won't be getting DeAndre.
Brian, what do you
Hopkins.
expect out of day 2 here?
Day 2, I mean, Levis is going to go early.
You
I think
think?
Joey Porter, first pick in the second
Where does
round
Levis
to
go?
the Steelers. And let's just take a look at who's picking. So the Steelers, they're at 32.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think Porter there.
Cardinals,
You got Cardinals, Lions, Colts. Rams
Rams.
at 36 is interesting, but I know
You
they
think-
need some help
You
building the
think
general
Seattle
roster.
would take Will Levis?
Seattle is definitely in the conversation as well. So I would say,
Who else
Yeah.
needs a quarterback? The Raiders kind of need a quarterback.
who did the I'm completely blanking. Who did they bring in to replace Carr?
Derek Carr.
I'm trying to think here. Who did they bring? Was it no?
Was it Garoppolo?
You know, it was
Is it Jimmy G?
Garoppolo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was Garoppolo.
Jimmy
Okay.
Garoppolo.
Yeah,
G-man.
yeah. But I think
Wow, I remember that, Michael. Did you see that?
I want to say, Seattle, the Rams, and
I'm busy.
possibly the Lions as well.
What are you doing over there,
because Goff, I don't
Business.
know how long he's going to be there.
Parachute Pete.
So I think those are a couple teams
Yeah,
that might
yeah.
select him. And then, I wish too the Jets, if they had those 2 second-round picks still, they probably could have traded up to like 33 or 34 to take Meyer. I want to play making tight end. I feel like we haven't
know.
had one in so
I know.
long.
And I feel like if the Green Bay's picking right before the Jets, I feel like they would totally pick him up too.
Yeah. No, I could totally.
They're looking for big, easy targets for that new guy.
Jordan
Love.
Love. Yeah. And I'm just trying to see who else is available here.
No one.
They got Luke Musgrove, another tight end from Oregon State. I guess that's rated pretty
Any
high.
fullbacks? You see any fullbacks?
Fullbacks, I mean, basically you're talking 7th round undrafted.
Oh man.
And really everybody's
Yeah.
a running back these days anyway.
Jay, you
So,
want to go in?
Yeah, dude, put me in. I'm fullback, baby.
so kind of a interesting draft. And I know before this, they were
Prefer?
saying this wasn't one of the better draft classes, but I think there's definitely talent here.
really
I think
shape it
the
up.
biggest thing is going to be, what quarterback rises up and, is actually like a really solid 10 to 15 year starter. I think there's such a question. I mean, I guess you start at the top with Bryce Young. The only thing that you
Yeah.
worry about is the size.
Yeah, but you saw that with Jay. I feel like Bryce Young. I know Jalen Hurts. They both went to the same school. It's like easy to
Yeah.
compare them, but like they're kind of like a similar player.
Yeah. And obviously
and
the
that
thing
they
is
can
he
run,
doesn't
they're dynamic.
scramble
Yeah.
as much. So I think that's a good thing. When you're smaller like that, you don't want to be taking a lot of hits.
Mhm.
So, and you would think too, Frank Reich, being a former quarterback himself, he's going to make sure that they have a solid offensive line over there. So he's not taking a lot of unnecessary hits. So interesting stuff. You know, we'll have to see how the rest of the draft shapes out. We got rounds 2 and 3 tonight at 7, and then 4 through 7 start tomorrow at noon. So the NFL draft, always
All
one of
day.
the better events of the year, and especially just for a draft. It's amazing what the NFL has done with this, how it's a must-see TV.
I
don't
know,
think it
dude.
is at all, actually.
You don't think so? It's a
But
big deal
for-
for a lot of people.
Yeah,
No, no,
exactly.
I'm sure. So,
And if you, but
okay.
if you were big on your team, it would be.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Like I remember when I
mean,
was like,
yes,
But
at
the
the
reason,
height of
but the
Jets
reason why the
fandom.
Mets and the Rangers you're not is because it takes 5 years for those guys to actually play.
No,
on
no,
the
I
team.
understand the draft and everything, but
Yeah.
I'm just like even those drafts too. I watch them. I care about the teams, care about the players, but it's just to me not like entertaining or interesting.
But like I
enough.
said, it's because
The
they're
first
so far
round.
down the
It's the
line. That's
first
why.
round.
no, no,
Don't
no,
you
no.
think it's something that they don't play for 5 years?
I'm
So why is
telling
he
you
gonna care?
why
You know,
right
what-
now,
but like,
Brian.
what?
I'm telling you why.
It's so
what
it's
you're
like
saying
not
doesn't make sense,
interesting.
though.
It's not interesting to watch like a hockey draft or
No.
like a baseball
Football draft
It's
is
not
just
interesting
different.
to
It's
watch any
different,
draft.
Barnes.
It's
Yeah.
not what interesting to watch any draft.
No, no, no.
Bro.
Football's different. Tony.
Football
No,
is
it's not.
different.
No,
Yes,
it's
it
not.
is.
No,
Yes,
it's
it
not.
is.
No, it's not.
It's different.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it
Football
is.
is ingrained in America's culture,
Yeah.
So is a lot of things.
but not as much as football.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I have to
I'm
say-
just saying, Tony.
No.
There are literal towns that like revolve around football culture. Like
Yeah,
you're
I
telling me
understand
that
that.
small town
I
in
understand
Kansas
that.
City, Missouri, they're just like glued to the TV, watching to see who their
Are
their
you
Chiefs
asking
get.
me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. You
I
think-
don't know. I've never been there.
Oh.
However-
well, it's
And
happening,
I was
Tony.
just talking about this
It's
yesterday.
happening.
Everybody's excited. Okay, these new guys we got, how they gonna like fit into our lineup?
Mhm.
How you project them?
Yeah,
if you get a
dude.
steal, if you make a trade,
I think that's
It
why
is
it's
so
fun.
exciting,
There's a lot
yeah.
of speculation, like how's this going to play out?
and I think it really gained notoriety
Mhm.
in 2020 when there was literally no sports on. Everybody was glued to their TV watching NFL draft. That was like, oh my god, I
Because
can't believe there's
nothing
something
else
to
was
watch.
going
How
on.
about
You
this?
guys
It
totally
was
missed my
already
point here.
popular
You're totally
before.
missing
It took it to
you're
another
missing
level.
my point here.
What
Okay.
I would like you actually to summarize your point, Tony.
Well, as long as
I've
you
got
let
a
me
point.
talk, right? Thank you very much. So my point is,
Well, let's
from
go
a
to Michael first.
production value, it sucks, dude. It sucks. It's so stupid. You're
Uh-huh.
literally sitting there and you're watching other people sit and wait. There's some celebrating. You see
Yes,
the family on the
dude.
couch. You can literally follow this thing on Twitter as opposed to be stuck on your couch trying to watch this thing.
It's like
You're literally watching a clock
I
tick
know.
down
yes, Tony.
the whole
Tony,
time.
It's the same thing
It's
as
reality
watching a
TV.
studio show about NFL, NBA. It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
It's
What are you talking
reality
about? It's
television.
totally
Yes, it
different.
is.
No, it's not.
How about
Totally
They're,
different.
they're
A
giving
studio-
their
a
analysis.
studio-
That's the point of watching it.
How about
studio
Who's
this?
going to
show-
get drafted? What are the rumors? Who are they looking for? How they can improve the team? It's the same
Yes.
thing.
No, it's,
dude.
it's
It's like a
totally
free
different.
agency
It's totally
preview.
different.
Let's
It's
hear
totally
it. Let's hear it, Michael.
Yeah, rip Tony to shreds, please.
This is totally off topic. I just want to change it.
Oh,
Go for
my
it.
God.
Kansas. At the end, it's KNSAS.
you kidding me, dude?
Bro, what are you
Why
where
is
are you
it? Why
going
is
with
it
this?
Arkansas and not Arkansas?
Arkansas?
You know what I think?
That was cringe, dude.
Let's go to the world.
Let's put Michael in the
of Major
penalty
League
box.
Baseball.
10 minutes. 10 minutes of penalty box.
Yes. Major League Baseball.
10 minutes.
Hit the button, Tony.
It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, what a play! Stop it, Yep.
And Alonso cracks one. The Mets win the ball game. Out of sight. And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Too deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
Get my point in what? Yeah. Sorry, baseball. Yep.
No,
I'm
if
super
you're
excited
no, but you know what it
Yankees
is.
win.
Also, I have
Give me.
to say too, and I'm not like taking a shot at you guys at all. But the reason why you don't care about the draft or like it is because you're not like big football fans.
That's
okay.
ridiculous, though.
You're not.
That's
though.
not the
You guys are
reason.
casual
That's not the
football
reason.
fans.
That's
Dude,
not
you
the
just
reason.
started.
dude.
What you just started like actually enjoying watching the games last year. So how could you say that you're a big football fan?
I never said that. Okay, but I'm saying.
But why are you just disregarding like that? That doesn't matter. That doesn't change how interested you are in the draft. Clearly, it does.
No, of course it does, but I'm saying I'm saying all drafts in general, Brian. I'm a huge hockey fan. I'm a huge baseball fan. Those drafts
Are
suck.
boring.
But
They're boring.
They're different
Just
drafts,
like the
though. They're
NFL
different
drafts.
They're
Not,
different
dude.
drafts.
Of course, they're different drafts, different sport. They all suck.
No,
That's
but
not
it's
true.
different. Like
Yes,
I said,
no, it's not different.
Yes,
it's
it
the
is,
same
dude.
thing.
No, it's not.
They don't
Tony
play
has
right
cracked.
away.
I
So
know.
if you're going to be
He
on
is
your
cracked.
team next year, it's exciting.
Cracked Tony
Oh, you're
finally.
going to be a starter for me. I want to know who it is. I want to know
Yeah.
where they come from, how they fit in with
There's
the team.
more riding on it. There's less games.
But
more
if they're going
riding
to
on
be
it.
there in
No.
6-7
Yes.
years, I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
No.
Exactly. I mean,
How's Aaron Judge doing, Barnes?
can we get it? Can we patch him in?
Brian,
right.
it's me, Aaron.
All
Hey,
right,
but
all
don't
right.
worry.
So,
I'm the GOAT.
Don't worry, Brian. My hips will be all right.
Yeah,
so
we have the best training staff.
as everybody knows now, the Yankees
Sound like
did
a bot.
win yesterday 4-2 over the Texas Rangers.
involved in
Garrett
that stuff.
Cole actually picked up his 5th win of the season, so now has an ERA of 1.11 and is 5-0. So really answering the call. He went 6 and
Shut
2
up,
thirds,
haters.
2 runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, and really the 2 runs were kind of on like infield dribblers. Cole not being able to cover the bag at first, so really just had almost a flawless performance. And then Boone taking him out in the 7th inning with 1 out to go, bases empty. Really made no sense with 92 pitches, but that it's funny. John Sterling actually ripped him on the radio broadcast because I was listening to it on my way home. He's like, "Yeah, he always does that. I don't understand why. Like, and you usually don't hear like an announcer say that for the team that they're announcing, but he did go there." But just to give you guys an idea of how the offense, really it was all 2nd inning until the 9th. LeMahieu homered, so that made it 1-0. Torres back-to-back made it 2-0, and then Anthony Volpe, who's really been heating up lately, singling to the left, scoring Peraza
It really has.
to make it 3-0 Yankees. Nothing really happens in the 3rd inning, but unfortunately the 4th inning, Judge is up, takes a swing, ends up having to leave the game originally because he slid head first into 3rd base, I guess, which would be on Wednesday against Minnesota. It seemed like his fingers, kind of got jammed up or whatever. So that's what we thought the injury was. After the game, we find out it was some hip discomfort. Judge himself said that he doesn't think it's a big deal. Will only be out a few days. But you look at Twitter, there's kind of some conflicting reports there, just in terms of, that the Yankees might be worried that hips are tricky.
Yeah. Twitter.
So it's, and then somebody, I don't know if this was a reliable source or not, but somebody said, like, off the record, LeMahieu said something like, "Oh, if he comes out of a game, that it's not good," or something, because he's as tough as it is. But we know the Yankees' history with Judge. They don't want him to be injured, so I'm sure they're taking every precaution. He did get tested after he was taken out of the game. Nothing came up on the MRI. So you have to be hopeful until there's a reason not to be. But we just know, of course.
Do some hip mobility exercises, take it easy. He'll be back. He'll be back.
I mean, it definitely is possible to have like a bruised hip, a sore hip. And it doesn't need to be, he needs a hip replacement now.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
no. That's
my God,
definitely
no.
too far.
Did anyone say that?
No,
saying that?
No,
Are you
just,
joking?
No, there's a lot of negative. There's a lot of negative tweets on Twitter,
Dude, they are shots.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Don't
God,
listen to those
dude, don't
losers.
read the comments.
But it's just tough. Like, it's one of those things. Like, I'll never forget when he got hit in the wrist against Kansas City. Like, I want to say it was 3 years ago. I literally refreshed my Twitter for 5 hours straight to find out what the deal was with the injury. So there was a burner account that said he had a wrist contusion. He's out day to day, and then it ends up being that he missed, I think, a month or whatever. So you just hate when stuff like this happens. But like I said, you just got to be hopeful. There's nothing we could do now, but just hope that he's all right. And let's give him a couple days off. If he needs 3-4 days off, that's fine. But let's just get healthy. Let's get back in the center of the lineup, and maybe just relax on the stolen bases a little bit. I think we'll be fine without him. Stealing 3rd base up 5. I mean,
and just stay in your lane, bro. You hit home runs.
Yeah, exactly. So fingers crossed on that. I mentioned the Rangers scoring there in the 6th inning. So they scored 1 run on a fielder's choice where, like I had mentioned, Cole couldn't cover, and then Duran, an infield single, scoring Heim. That made it 3-2. Jose Trevino, going back to his former team there in Texas, homering to left for an insurance run to make it 4-2. Michael King relieved Cole, 2 1/3 scoreless, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, first save of the season. So after a little bit of a shaky start, his ERA sits at 1.72. Yankees, second straight win. So nice after that real tough stretch to pick up 2 in a row here and defeat their former teammate in Andrew Heaney, who relatively did okay, ran into trouble in the second inning, but overall his line, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Did allow 2 home runs. ERA sits at 4.38. So at the end of the day, you're happy about the win. You're happy about, the fact that while you got off to a hot start offensively, little lull, you get that insurance run from Trevino, who's actually heating up himself. 3 for 4 yesterday. Every time you look up, it looks like, Volpe's having a hit, LeMahieu's having a hit, Rizzo's having a hit. So all those guys have been contributing. Glaber, as well, second consecutive game homering. You love to see that. So all of that pretty good. But it was funny too. Aaron Hicks dropped like a little league fly ball. I don't know if anybody saw it again. So you would think the release is imminent. Because it doesn't matter at this point. Anybody's going to be better. He was 1 for 3 yesterday, hitting 147. It's just complete embarrassment. But hey, nice to get a win here. Nice to get Cole to 5-0. Really seems like he should be a top contender for the Cy Young this season. And let's just really hope for some good news on Judge. Obviously, anything we hear on that, we'll bring your way. Game 2 tonight of this series, 8:05. We're going to get Clark Schmidt versus Jacob deGrom. So that's an interesting matchup there. Obviously Schmidt has really struggled. Had a great beginning to his start last time, but then, struggled before they took him out. So we'll see if he can hold the Rangers down. Definitely a little concerned, about the him against, at this stadium, definitely a hitter's park. So we'll have to see what happens. And obviously I'll give my pick in a sec. But before we do that, Tony, I'm just curious, we'll talk about the Mets victory.
Oh,
What do you think about deGrom? Kind of an uneven start this year. ERA isn't bad, but we've seen him struggle a little bit.
No, yeah. I mean, numbers are good right now.
Yeah.
Again, I think his biggest problem is his availability still. You saw him, I think, last time he left the game early, I forget when it was. It must have been a couple weeks ago, but he threw 3 innings. And I think he had like 5 Ks already, like was dialed in.
Yeah,
like
actually
no
had 4
runs.
no-hit innings, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts.
Yeah. And he had to leave because of an injury. So
Right.
it's kind of, obviously not good on that sense of being available. So, I mean, when he's there, his stuff has been good, as we've seen, his entire career basically. But, it's the question of how long he can last.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the Yankees can do against him, especially, with Judge out of the lineup. But we'll have to see. But like I mentioned, the Mets, a 9-8 victory over the Nationals yesterday. How did we get there, Tony?
So pretty crazy game, actually. But it was nice to see the Mets, actually pick up a win here at home against the Nationals. Again, a ton of scoring, started early, started often. Bottom of the second, you got Kana hitting a sac fly RBI, bringing in McNeil. Top of the third, the Nats kind of answer there with a call. Homer to center. I think his second of the season. He's been batting pretty well this series against the Mets. Now, bottom of the fourth, you get Brett Beatty hitting his first home run of the season. Remember, obviously, his first MLB at bat was a homer. He cranked that one 400 feet. Was really nice to see that. That same inning, Lindor had a nice RBI double, a 2 RBI double. Alvarez and Nimmo were brought home there. And then top of the 6th, you have Garcia for the Nats battling back here as he gets an RBI single. At that point, it's a 4-2 game. Again, it seems like the bats are kind of starting to develop on both sides of the ball here. But the Mets, honestly, at this point, I mean, their lineup looked, light years better than it was. We got shut out by the Nats. They looked foolish. To score 4 runs by the 6th inning, I think was pretty sweet. This is where you kind of saw some of the pitchers for the Mets kind of get into some trouble, and we'll get more into that. In the 6th, though, Robles also grounds to a fielder's choice here, gets an RBI out of it, makes it 4-3. That very same inning on the bottoms of the 6th here, Lindor again, another RBI double, Alonso RBI single, Vogelback RBI single, all back to back, right? So again, the Mets finally stringing along good hits, getting some momentum in the lineup. And at that point, those 3 RBIs bring it 7-3. and you're feeling pretty good. It's bottom of the 7th here. Unfortunately, going to the top of the 8th, excuse me. There's a sac fly RBI by Garcia, who's had another player on the Nationals had a great series against the Mets. But then Abrams hits a grand slam to make it 8-7. So kind of just like that, for what looked like, the Mets having a pretty cushiony 4-run lead. All of a sudden now they're down by 1 run, which is pretty crazy to see that. But fortunately enough, bottom of the 8th, I mean, again, Alonso, who had a big night, and McNeil both come up pretty huge. Alonso with an RBI double, McNeil with an RBI triple, making that 1-run deficit again in the Mets, in favor of the Mets. And that was basically the end of the scoring there. Mets do win this one 9-8. You're definitely a little worried. We know about Lucchesi and how great his last start was. His final line was 5 1/3, giving up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He threw 90 pitches over those 5 1/3 innings. Again, I spoke yesterday, the issues with our starting rotation here, specifically the length they give us. Lucchesi here did not do us any favors. You're absolutely overusing your bullpen, and you saw that when they brought in Tommy Hunter in the 6th. And he pitched an inning and 2/3, gave up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, threw 31 pitches, struggling with location. And then you try to bring in Rayleigh to maybe minimize some damage. He throws an inning with 2 earned runs, gives up that hit. At that point, I believe that was the grand slam. Only 2 of those runs were earned. And it's just really tough, dude, because it like I said, it looks like your bullpen is overworked, a little tired.
Ottavino on bereavement.
Yeah, Ottavino on bereavement. Obviously unfortunate. But at this point, you're like, all right, we got some reinforcements coming. Scherzer will be back. Verlander looks like he's been throwing. He'll be back soon. He's going to start against Detroit. Scherzer's back on the 1st against the Braves, which is obviously a big series coming up starting today, actually, at home. But I mean, it's really tough, dude, because you really, as good as your bullpen started, you're already overusing them. You do not want them to be tired out, by midway of the season and be almost unusable and very hittable. Because you really do have a great group of guys. You had some guys step up, like Brigham, for example. We've been talking about him a lot. So pretty crazy game. I mean, a win is a win. You scored 9 runs. That's great. Hey, like in an instance where a team struggles with pitching, the one thing you need is some offense to counterbalance the runs given up, and that's exactly what you had. So it was a good, strong win. Mets looking a little shaky defensively. I don't know if they're just all tired in general or what's going on, but Lindor made another error last night. Not something that's usually happening for him.
Jet lag from the West Coast trip?
Maybe, dude. It's kind of weird that it catches up to them now.
Body clock.
Yeah, body clock.
Maybe. I mean, they had an extra day off. It's their 3rd game of the series. They've been home for a while. I don't know. I don't know if it's just the vibe, if they're bogged down by the starting pitching situation, but it seems like they need something
It's all about the
to
vibes.
kind of rile the team.
You think it was the Max Scherzer ejection?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's probably not great. Your ace is injured, and then your next up ace is suspended.
A cheater.
A cheater.
But like you mentioned about the bullpen not getting word out. I mean, what other than obviously, hoping for better performances out of your starters? I mean, what are the options? Is there anybody in the minors they could bring up? I mean, what?
No. I have to do some research on that, but I mean, off the top of my dome, no.
Anthony
We
Materiello.
don't really have many.
That's all I have.
Many prospects in the
for them.
minors. The guys that we brought in are a little bit older to be able to be used, like Brigham. So I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, they could
Just
try
sad to be a Met.
but
See,
it doesn't
teams
look great,
never
dude.
do it. Like you said, I don't know, the Mets minor league system, but I'm sure there's some talented pitchers, maybe in AA that need more seasoning or whatever.
Probably.
But it's like, I just don't get when you need arms and stuff. Like, why not just take a chance, see if they could give you something? Because it's worked before with other situations.
No, yeah, very true. Especially out of the bullpen. I mean, it's something you bring a guy in for an inning and just see how what he can do.
And sometimes they end up becoming a reliever, even though they had no plans to be. Like Aroldis Chapman, I know, kind of bad example, but he was always a starter, and then the Reds had him and they were like, "Oh, we'll bring him back to the starter." And they're like, "Wait, we don't want to lose this at the back end of the game." So some guys, they don't realize what a good fit they are as a reliever.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I could do some research and see who they have kind of in the farm system. what young arms you can even try in the majors. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, it's obviously kind of tough. Just because at this point, just kind of waiting. You imagine, Scherzer and Verlander come back. I mean, they have to do something with Carrasco. He's absolutely useless in the starting rotation.
What's the timeline on his injury?
I think he was day to day.
Okay.
So,
but he's on the injured list.
He's on the injured list.
Okay.
So I think they're just kind of taking it slow, but I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they just designate him.
Is he under contract next year as well?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is kind of beat. And then you would imagine again, like maybe keeping Lucchesi around, McGill obviously too, and hopefully Senga develops, and then you got 5 starters right there. And then hopefully again, like if those pitchers start giving you some length, I mean, you should have no issue just using your bullpen around them. And then you're gonna have a lot better games. You're gonna have games where you're giving up 2 runs instead of 8, which would be great. So, I mean, again, a good win for the Mets, not the great start to this homestand here, especially against a team like the Nationals. You lose the first 2, but we've seen that they had good pitchers in Gore and Josiah Gray, right? They had decent pitching. Obviously, their bats were hitting well against our pitchers. So it was a nice grind out win. Shouldn't have been this close, obviously, but I mean, facing that adversity, losing, that cushion they had of 4 runs, still coming back late in the game. To win this by 1 run, I think was pretty great. Robertson looked great closing it out. So that was good to see too. And now we're on to the Braves, which is a huge series tonight. I think we have Peterson on
versus Max Fried.
Yeah.
And it's interesting with Robertson. Is it just me, or does it feel like he doesn't age?
It seems like that,
right? He looks exactly the same as when he was with the Yankees in 09.
It's like Spielberg.
So something in the water. I don't know.
Adrenochrome.
But you mentioned
Spielberg looks pretty old.
Peterson versus Fried. Are you backing the Mets tonight?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, again, like the way the bats were hitting last night, if those bats continue to do that, I mean, even Connor looked great. You got obviously Lindor coming up big, 2 for 5, Alonso 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Brett Beatty, dude, 3 for 3 last night with the home run.
Waiting for that,
dude.
nice,
like literally, dude, real like breath of fresh air there. Love him at third base too. I was certainly better than Escobar. Yeah, he's one of the top prospects out of the minors. Alvarez looking pretty solid too. He had a big hit last night.
But like some little like bruise he left the game with. I guess he's okay though.
Yeah, no, he was fine.
Okay.
Precautionary stuff. Yeah. But again, like he should be starting tonight. Obviously, Beatty too. Like get the young guys in there. Looking at a pitcher like Max Fried, I think they're gonna do well against him. Honestly,
and it's just like you have to be so excited just the thought of like wow, like Beatty and Alvarez producing like what the Met offense could look like with them playing full time and producing.
Literally, it would be night and day what it is right now. So you have that. I think you'd imagine Peterson can run into some trouble here, but again, you'll have Ottavino out of the pen, which is nice. They'll probably use Brigham too.
No, but is Ottavino going to be back?
Oh, sorry, yeah, he's not.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Right.
So, is Robertson picked back? Or no, he didn't pitch 2 days ago. No,
he did not pitch 2 days ago.
So
he's
probably going to have to
run him back. Oh,
Most likely.
It's not terrible. I think he's very again. Like last night, I mean, he came in and he was just locating pitches immediately. Threw 14 pitches. 10 of them were strikes. Got 2 strikeouts. So I mean, he looked great.
Drew
so
Smith an option or no?
Yes, he is an option. He pitched 2 nights ago, a little banged up. But it's fine, dude. He'll be good.
What are you forecasting for the score here?
Low score.
Lower than
Peterson.
Lower than last night. I would say like Mets can win this one. I want to say like 7-5.
7-5. Yeah, I can see it. The Braves are gonna put some runs.
What's your prediction for the Yankee game?
I actually was just gonna mention that. But before I do that, I just want to say we both went 2-1 yesterday.
Nice.
So you're at 27 points. I'm at 24. So maintaining that lead there, Tony. I know you're tight about the NFL draft, but you have to be happy about that.
Yeah, of course I'm happy about that.
Yeah. He likes it.
But of course the
God
Yankees.
forbid I don't like something.
It's gonna be a tall task, but
I
think they can do it. And the one thing I point to with Schmidt is he was great. I think it was into the 6th inning is where he ran into trouble. I think he pitched 5 scoreless last time out. So I think Tony, come on. Exactly. So I think it's just one of those things. First sign of trouble, let's just get him out of there. The bullpen's rested. Only Michael King pitched last night. So
great guy.
You have guys to come in. So what I want to say is, I think DeGrom will probably pitch pretty well, probably like a 6-inning, 2 earned, 9 strikeout type of thing. But we'll put 2 across. I think, Schmidt can match at least the 2 earned, maybe over only 5 innings or 5 1/3. And I think once we get into that Ranger bullpen, we'll, score a couple more runs. And I think it ends up being a 6-3 victory for the Yankees. Anthony Rizzo, 2 home runs tonight.
Let's go.
Michael's guy.
Anthony Rizzo, 2 home runs.
Yeah.
Love it.
You always like
He
Rizzo,
hasn't
right?
done that since the Chicago
no, dude, I'm
days.
He had 3 last year.
I'm concocting parlays in my brain right now.
Cock.
But you know Rizzo, though, right?
The
or
consistent
Anthony, yes, I've heard of him. For sure.
Okay, yeah.
Has he been a long time Yankee?
So
A
this
couple
is, I
years.
guess, his
Third
third
year.
year, but his 2nd full season.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Um,
Where was he? Was he like in the area before?
Cubs. He won a
Okay.
World Series with the Cubs.
I thought he was full
And
of
then it was
shit.
just over.
Michael, one more time. Just his face. That's your problem.
No,
Is it the
he's
face?
just, you know what
'Cause
it
he's
is,
Italian.
man? No, it's not that. It's
Yeah, Mike hates Italian.
his production, his tenacity for first base. I don't accept it. I need more.
32 and 90 is not enough for you.
No, I need more passion.
Mike's
But
demanding
wait,
passion.
are you just saying that
on the
because he
baseball
talks to everybody that's on first? Is that what you're saying?
I don't like that he's buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
think that's chief
Why? It's that Chief.
because you're at war.
We're playing baseball.
I would say too, honestly,
See, that's the problem with this generation.
yeah,
Nah,
but
dude, it's
you can't
baseball,
group
though.
baseball with it. Baseball is different than basketball. I understand what you mean basketball. Like, you get blown out by 20 swept in a series. They're like, hey, how's it go? Like, like hugging after the game,
Yeah, I mean, I just
Like,
I don't know.
When
I
you're
just
playing a physical sport, Mike, I get it. Dude.
we can be friends in the All-Star game, but like I don't need my first baseman being like, Bill, how's your wife?
But dude, you ever think he's playing mind games with him?
No, he's not smart enough.
But I guess what I would say is, though, everybody does do that. I can't even think of, I don't know if you, Tony, like know anybody who seems kind of like stiff on first, like from your recollection.
Anyone seems like they don't talk.
Like
stiff on
Alonso,
first
he's
base.
talking to people on
Oh
first.
yeah, of course, dude. But it's a little different than Rizzo. Let's be clear about that.
Well, obviously he's a
Um,
better player, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't think anyone who is upset at first
Uptight,
base,
like he's just gonna
uptight.
stare at you. No,
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
I don't
really.
think that's
I
how
have
it works.
too, no.
And
I can
And
see
let
Mike
me
like
tell you-
bodying someone on first base.
Yeah.
I know that Anthony
it's just not
Rizzo
time.
is going to be the
Any
starting first baseman on a Yankee World Series team. I guarantee it. So he will live in Yankee history forever for doing
Matt's
that.
gonna hate you for saying that, dude.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tony. So
No,
obviously,
yeah, World Series
6-3 Yankees. What? First of all, I didn't say this year, even though that is going to
I
happen. But that's a different
I
story.
know. I know.
Matt doesn't like that.
Anyway,
No.
what's number 2 here?
Oh, totally forgot we were picking here.
Yeah.
It's just
By the way, while you're looking that up, did you see the Pirates dismantled the Dodgers yesterday? Keller, 10
destroyed them,
strikeouts.
dude.
If Pittsburgh ends up sliding like everyone's expecting,
The
that's
Yankees are
going to
not
be a
getting
hot.
Keller.
No, but I'm saying that's going to be a hot name at the trade deadline.
No,
People are gonna
absolutely,
wanna
dude. Who's the guy for
acquire.
Arizona too?
Merrill Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. He's
another
gonna
one.
be one too. Oh
Yeah.
god, I absolutely
Greg
love it,
Bird.
dude. Honestly, the Mets should get both of them, dude. Dude, Brian, Michael.
I got Brian as well.
Oh, you missed it, dude.
I know I've been watching.
Okay,
I'm
dude.
always
Anyway, I'm gonna go my
watching
next
Power
pick
Rangers.
here. Just looking down the
Tony always
docket.
watches this scene.
Oh, this is a
specifically.
great scene.
Angels,
Yeah.
by the way, squeaking out the win yesterday.
Got
Otani ran into some trouble. But nonetheless, dude, speaking of Kelly, actually for the Diamondbacks, he's pitching tonight. I don't think the pitcher I was thinking of was Merrill Kelly, actually.
Zach Gallen.
Zach Allen, yeah. But anyway, give me Kelly tonight here on the mound against Colorado. It was 8-18. Kyle Freeland on the mound for Colorado. He's 2-2 in the season, 4.28 ERA. Ran into a lot of trouble actually against Pittsburgh. Remember that he pitched 2 2/3, giving up 7 earned runs. And then most recently on the 22nd, lost against Phillies, 6 innings, but giving up 4 home runs, 3 home runs against the Phillies. So obviously having some issues there with giving up the long ball. How about Corbin Carroll? You familiar with the 22-year-old lefty?
Yeah.
Leading the team with home runs for the Diamondbacks, batting .311. Give me another dinger here and maybe like a 2 RBI single to get his RBI count in the double digits here. Arizona streams to the victory. I don't know, 4-1.
I like it. Yeah. No, they're an up-and-coming team.
Yeah.
It's funny, the Dodgers, I mentioned them. I am going to take them. You got May versus Flaherty. This is an Apple
It's a good
TV
matchup.
game. And it's just interesting. I feel like just because of the attitude in LA, and I could be wrong about this, but I guess, I don't know, just the sports fans are different, but I just feel like they probably don't hear anything like the way that, like, when the New York teams struggle, like the Dodgers are only 13-13,
Right.
struggling on offense. I feel like it's just not as big of a deal as it is here.
No,
that's
not at
definitely
all.
for sure. Brian.
But they draw 50,000. I don't know if that's just, it's a
Those are
nice day. I want
corporate
to go to the
seats.
game.
That
type of deal.
absolutely, dude.
Yeah. And
Corporate
all
seats.
that being said, though, I really do. And I know we talked about this already, but I really do want to go to a game there. I think that would be awesome. Dodger Stadium.
Get
Let's
a
go
Dodger
right now,
dog.
dude.
Yeah. But yeah, so I do think, listen, I know
I'm
maybe
down.
the Dodgers aren't
Shut
the
up,
prime
Jay.
Dodgers that they've been the last couple of years,
I'll
but
just
neither are the
sit behind you
Cardinals.
guys.
They're only 10-16, which is surprising. But I think May has a little more in the tank than Flaherty. So I want to say this is going to be actually a lower scoring game. But give me the Dodgers here 3-1 over the Cardinals as they go back over 500. What do you got for your third and final?
My third and final, I know, kind of a tough one here. I think I'm going to go with the Mariners against Toronto. It's actually pretty interesting. Toronto's minus 115 here as they host the Mariners, right? They're just starting this 3-game set. Luis Castillo on the mound for Seattle. Alek Manoah on the mound for Toronto. We've seen Manoah get into some trouble here, against teams that can hit. Seattle is one team that has some pretty solid hitters. Of course, their bat's starting to heat up for themselves, but I think Castillo can kind of extinguish some of the flames that some of the batters have been able to muster up. You have something funny to say, dude? Michael?
It's just funny what you're saying.
Anyway, dude, Castillo 2-0 in the season, 1.52 ERA. Got a little banged up against St. Louis in his most recent outing.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be fine. I think it was like 6 innings, maybe 3 earned runs. For him, that's not a great start, but for most, that's a solid start. I think Manoah can get really, honestly, into some trouble here. Eugenio Suarez, Kelenic. We know
On fire, right?
Fire. 7 home runs in the season, batting .316, 14 ribbies. So does phenomenal work. When he has runners in scoring
Comeback
position.
player of the year.
Could be.
I
dude.
mean, honestly, he was hitting so low the last
horrible,
couple of years.
literally.
Horrible. Might be.
So I said give me Seattle here. They're gonna win. I'll say 4-2.
You love it. Love it. And I think better days are around the corner for Seattle. I know they've struggled a little bit. Better days are not around the corner for Jordan Lyles and the Kansas City Royals, 6-20. And it's just like ever since that World Series appearance again, or World Series victory against the Mets, they just have not been able to find anything. And it's
tough.
just like you have these highly touted prospects. It doesn't end up working out, whatever the case is. And Zach Greinke's veteran influence isn't doing anything. Pablo Lopez has looked pretty good, coming over from Miami in that Luis Arias trade. Was a target of the Yankees, before ultimately going there. There was some talk they might have done Torres for Lopez. But I just think against a weak hitting Royals team, this is not going to be any type of task. We saw the Twins give the Yankees some troubles, and I think they will coast over the Royals here. I could see Buxton and Correa going deep. Give me the Twins here, 7-1. Lopez, 6 innings, 10 strikeouts.
Wow.
And that being said, Tony, let's go to the worlds of the National Hockey League.
Wow, dude.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot.
Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan's skull. Oh, my goodness. Gets the gun right back. Terrified and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliance from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
How the tides have turned here. Unfortunately, the Rangers last night 4-0. They lose to the Devils in Game 5 to go down 3-2. They will have a chance to even up the series at 3 and avoid elimination with a game tomorrow at Madison Square Garden. But obviously just a disappointing effort here. And we go back to ever since the Devils made that switch from Vanacek to Schmid, they have not been
Brodeur
able
Jr.
to figure it out.
Schmidt's
I want to
been
say they're 0 for their last
killing it.
9 on power plays. It just really has been a complete embarrassment. And everybody was talking about on the radio, whether it's Rick and Dave, whether it's Boomer, just the fact that this could have been 9-0. It's just Sturkin, was doing everything he could to limit the damage here. But it's disappointing. It's gut wrenching. And it's just unacceptable. I just want to kind of curious, Tony, if you could kind of give me your synopsis and basically what the hell is going on?
Yeah, dude. So, obviously, nothing has been really good for the Rangers the past like 3 games. You're looking at a team that scored 10 goals in their first 2 and now scored 2 in their last 3 games. I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Complete flip-flop in terms of level of play. Yes, the Devils have made necessary adjustments. But you look at last night's game, look at how the progression of these losses have kind of happened. They've been more and more dominant on the side of New Jersey every game. You look at what happened again, like obviously most dominant here with a shutout, but only having 22 shots on goal. They just do a completely horrible job trying to get offense going recently. I don't know what they're thinking or what the plan is, but they're doing like these crazy long passes to try and get some offense going. And yeah, sometimes they work, sometimes they gain the offensive zone here, but they get a shot on goal. No one's set up. There's no sustained offense here with any of these shifts. It's super quick. And a team like that, where play against a team like the Devils that are so quick, that can turn defense to offense quickly, you give them opportunities to just make a nice, like, one save, puck is out, it's going the other way now, like for the Devils. Like, that's exactly like you're playing into their game. That type of like pendulum swing just gives the Devils more speed down the other end of the ice, and evidently more opportunities against Igor. 43 shots on goal they had last night.
Double,
obviously, literally almost double what the Rangers could have produced. And it honestly, it wasn't really anything other than the Rangers not making good play. You look at the faceoffs, it was basically 50-50.
Yep.
Power play opportunities you had, you couldn't convert on them. And in my opinion here, we'll get to Michael in a second, but in my opinion, the Rangers are a better team. There's more talent, more experience. You literally, the resume of all these players, are lengthy. You put them all together. It's a fucking essay of a resume for all these players. But they're just, again, they look tired. I think the shorthanded goal last night.
Bright lights.
What was Panarin doing?
He sucks.
It was so ridiculous. He just did not want to play defense on the back end there. It was a 2-on-2.
Yeah.
But he didn't skate anymore. He stopped skating and they gave up a goal. What are you doing? Patty Kane is not playing any defense. We know historically in his career, he is not great. He's more of obviously an offensive player here, but you got to do something. And on top of that, the Devils, look at the third period, for example. At this point, the Rangers, you're just looking to get something going, some momentum coming into game 6, but they're getting out hit. I know the Rangers did have more hits at the end of the game, but you look at the third period, Gaudreau, I think it was, I forget who got absolutely, maybe Jimmy Vesey got absolutely tattooed on the boards. So Patty King get hit hard too, struggling to get up. You have to answer this. Yeah, Gaudreau got into a fight. It wasn't a great fight, but yeah, he stood up for, I guess, his team, which is fine. But again, you think of last postseason first round, things got really ugly with Pittsburgh because Trouba almost took Crosby's head off. And for the entire series, he was hunting him down. That's what you need. Trouba can be physical. Why isn't he? K'Andre Miller can be physical. Why aren't they? They're making their hits. They're finishing their checks. That's great. But you need some type of big hit, like a massive, fucking, you're down on the ice for a while hit. Wind knocked out of you.
Momentum shifting hit. Yeah.
Really, it has to be physical, dude.
We need some life coming out of the Rangers, man. They were in the offensive zone and they were just passing. No one wanted to take a chance.
Scared.
No one was shooting.
The bright lights, baby.
Yeah, Mike. It looked like the Rangers didn't want to be there, honestly.
Right.
It's typical Panarin.
No, honestly, it's pretty crazy. Obviously, I think Schmidt, who's doing a phenomenal job in between the pipes for the Devils.
Yeah, dude.
You're the coach of the Devils. By God, you drop the first 2 games decisively.
Yeah.
And then you make the call to bring in this guy who's never seen the playoffs before, and it looks like he's been living in the playoffs for his entire life. He's been, standing on his head,
larger
basically.
than life, man.
But is it really just because he's big? Like, is that really why is like in the Rangers can't
Yeah,
score
dude.
against tall goaltenders?
I mean,
is
He's
that
got he's got like long arms.
No,
He's
but
got a wider
isn't he
It's
stance.
just
6'4"?
we want
yeah,
it
he's
more.
like 6'4", 6'5", but it's not that he's just big. Yes, obviously his size plays a factor, but I mean the
He's
matter
like
of fact
6'9"
is
on
that
skates.
he's been like totally dialed in. I mean, again,
Yeah,
like,
he cares.
he has not like been bogged down by the pressure of the playoffs.
At
He has
all.
a quick glove. He isn't too aggressive against some of these players. He's a patient goaltender. I mean, you see the Rangers did have chances in front of the net, but again, he just tracks the puck, stays calm, and reacts quickly.
Gets wide.
He is a great goaltender. Yeah, he does. And then at the times where he needs to, he does attack the puck and make the goal a little bit smaller, using his body to his advantage for sure. But he has really been a phenomenal goaltender. And the Rangers, honestly, if I hear Gallant one more time saying I like the way we're playing, I think I'm gonna like murder him because it's absolutely ridiculous. But I really don't blame Gallant. I mean, he's just trying to keep a positive attitude. I think that he is kind of like maybe a little bit too seems like worried about the power play and how it's not been effective. I think you should just stick with your normal power play 1 unit and let them ride out there. A lot of this is riding on the players, I think, at this point, because they're not playing well. They're just not. As a team, you're not playing well. You need a captain here to step up. Again, big momentum changing hit. Something that can really just hype up your team and have them believe that they can win this, which they can. They're talented enough. So I'm still hopeful. I know, we're back home now. Haven't done well in the last few games. Haven't done well in the Garden. You're definitely looking to the fans to come in here and hype up the team themselves too. I mean, you look at the Prudential Center. Yeah, there's a lot of Rangers fans at the Prudential Center, which is great. But you definitely hear the Devils fans more.
Yeah.
Taunting Igor, cheering for their team when the Devils were making big hits, right? I feel like you haven't really seen that a lot at the Garden.
Well, they didn't give him a lot to cheer for, though.
But it doesn't matter, Brian. Like, you still have to hype them up somehow. Get some chance.
How about they hype up the fans and score, though? I mean, in all seriousness,
you got a
two-sided sword here.
Two-way street.
Two-way street here, okay?
But I mean, but in all seriousness, though, like this game coming up,
right?
They can't fall behind. That's on them. They have to
score. Of course.
You're telling me if the Garden's not gonna be rocking if they put 2 goals through in the first period?
No, yeah, of course not. But the Garden should be rocking from the get-go. I'm gonna tell you right now why. Because the Rangers have been in a very similar situation. I know Michael, who's not a real fan, probably wouldn't remember this. But in 1994, they had a series against the Devils.
Living in the past.
History tends to repeat itself, especially for people like Michael who don't know the history.
Living in the past.
You
got to stop.
So back in 1994, the Devils had a series against the Rangers here, in which the Rangers went up 2-0. Devils came back the next 3 games and beat them 3 games in a row. Rangers come in, guarantee a Game 7 at the Garden. They do exactly that. They win. They advance. Devils go home.
Messier's not walking through that door.
First of all, he can certainly. I'm sure Messier is more than welcome in that locker room. I don't know what you're thinking. No, they're not done. I think again, this is where experience comes into play. The Rangers have been here before as a team, even as recent as last season. They're down 3-1 against a veteran Penguins team who's just as quick as the Devils can be, and they come back. They win 3 games in a row, and they advance.
Yeah.
So I think, and then again, it was the same deal with the Penguins too. Injury to the goaltender, bringing in a new guy who happens to be great and rising to the occasion, but they get past him. So the Rangers have done this before. They've been here. They're more than capable of doing it. I think now at this point, I mean, the heat's on, the pressure back against the walls for real. This is win or go home, dude. Is this at this point? So Rangers are rising to the occasion. I don't give a fuck what the naysayers over there in the corner.
Yeah, dude. They need their superstars to step up. You know,
so
Zibanejad's been quiet. Kane. Yeah, you had a
Kreider had a first, couple.
Don't get used to Panarin stepping up. He doesn't do it. But
honestly, the sensible thing is here, and I know you know this, Jay, is if they play the way that they played the last 3 games, they're not winning Game 6.
No way.
But if they play the way that they know they can play, they have as good of a shot as anybody. Yeah. So I mean, it's just execution at the end of the day.
There's just a lot more pressure now.
Yeah,
you know.
But you got to just do it. Otherwise, what are you worth?
Yeah.
You know. So
this is it, man.
Do or die.
Do
tomorrow.
or die time. Exactly.
And I think, but one thing I just kind of to wrap up this conversation, and I kind of alluded to it when we started, Tony, but like you've been watching hockey for a lot longer than I have. Like, is there such a thing as like, have you seen the Rangers like specifically against like one goalie that they just can't figure him out like in the playoffs? Like, is there anything that you could relate to in this scenario, what they've seen with Schmid?
I mean, something like that where it's, a rookie goaltender who just got called in because the starter was not doing well. Again, last season comes to mind, but in terms of, the goaltending the Rangers having one specific goaltender they have a tough time against, it's probably Carey Price for the Canadiens. I know this is, probably like maybe a decade ago now. But I mean, they were, that was a time where the Canadiens were being competitive in the playoffs. They didn't go far exactly, but first round or second round against the Rangers was always tough. Carey Price was rivaled, certainly in Ranger Town here, and it got pretty crazy. Again, it was a goaltender they could not really get past, and at that point, there is such thing as a goaltender getting in your head, and you see it right now. Like Jay said, the Rangers aren't shooting pucks because they feel like they need the perfect shot to get past Schmid right now, which really isn't the case. There are ways around it. Getting
it's
more
like quantity at this point. You got to tire him out. He's new.
Right, exactly. You have to challenge him more. Of course, it is more quantity. I mean, 22 shots on goal is not challenging him enough. Especially in the third period, they were outshot like 18-4 or something.
Oh, that's right. I remember watching.
Absolutely,
and they were like,
dominated.
we were listening
period.
In the car.
Yeah.
And they were like, the Devils have like 14 shots to the Rangers 1.
Yeah, and that was early on. They were giving them too many power play opportunities. That's poor defense and everything, but challenging Schmid is something you have to do. And it is more quantity for sure, but it's a delicate balance because you don't want to that's what you did the past 2 games before last night. You were just throwing pucks at the net with really no plan. Throw a puck to the net, have someone be there in the rebound, try to deflect it. Something, dude. You need to get something going. And I think that's the way to do it. Michael, who was your favorite goal scorer last night for the Devils?
Hey. I don't know. You know who I like? Dawson Mercer, though.
Dawson Mercer?
I like Dawson, and I love my boy, Jack Hughes. Jackie boy. How you doing, Jackie?
How'd you feel about Mercer playing last night? You think he did well?
He did all right.
Just all right?
Yeah.
Contributions? No.
I don't want to go into detail right now. I think the sting, it's like, is there. I don't want to pour the alcohol onto your wounds.
Maybe you should.
No, I don't.
I want you to. Go into detail.
You got to clean up my wound.
Yeah, go into great detail, dude.
I don't want it to get infected.
You gotta live in the past. We'll go to the past.
I don't want
you love living in the past,
03, baby.
Fairfield Ludlow.
Championship.
Mike,
02 championship. Bro tour, baby. It's just all.
The whole allure of downtime TV is like 90s living in the past.
Yeah. Who got you that hat, Michael? Who got you that hat? Tell me who got you that hat.
It was a Christmas
Jimmy
gift,
G, man.
birthday gift.
Christmas gift, birthday gift?
Yeah, I hate you.
You don't even remember who? Come on, dude.
You got it. You got a few for Christmas.
You got
I know.
No,
I'm just really excited because Game 6, Garden
tomorrow.
I wish
now
we could
you
go.
want to watch the game?
I'm gonna watch the game.
Yeah.
You guys want to go get standing room seats?
Where?
Yeah, for $700.
I know. It's beat. Where are you guys watching it tomorrow?
I mean, wherever I'm going to be watching, I'm sure you're not going to show up. So
that's true.
I'll be with you.
You guys want to go play pool at Main Street Tavern and watch the Ranger game? We know some guys there.
Some butts there.
No,
I want to go do horseshoe.
Sports
sport
guys.
is home
I mean,
too.
I'm down. I'm down to do horseshoe, but I mean, obviously, main focus is the game. So like,
you want to be on Tony wants to be on a couch.
I'm a big proprietor of watching it at home.
We could go to your house.
Home based, dude.
Yeah, and then we'll
order
go out
food.
after.
Yeah, you can go out after if you want.
I'm down to do
Saturday
that.
night.
Go to your house.
I'm fit. I'm finna.
After.
Brian.
We'll
Or
talk about
Brian.
it.
You golfing this weekend? Brian, you golfing this weekend?
It's raining. I
it's
should
raining.
have a window on Sunday, like in between the rain. We'll
A
see.
window.
But, yeah,
That's funny.
but tomorrow
Put it
is
up in
out,
the
so definitely not golfing tomorrow.
Dude, driving range feels good.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited to
You're
get
ready
out there.
for.
I'm
You're
fucking
ready for.
ready.
your
I'm
game.
ready.
Dude, I'm dying to get out.
I'm
there,
ready.
Yeah.
man.
I can't wait. I'm more ready than everybody.
Wow.
You wear your clubs.
Do you even have clubs, dude?
Dude, they're on the way.
You even have clubs, but
They're on the way.
They're on the way, really?
Yeah,
dude. Facebook Market, we should check it out.
that's
dude.
what I'm saying.
Honestly,
That's what I'm
they're probably
dude.
free.
No, you know what I think we
look
should
'em up.
do? Like, this is just kind of a rough idea, but I feel like because next weekend I'm going to North Carolina, but the next week we were talking about a Friday. I feel like we should do it then.
Not this Friday, the
I
following.
think the
Friday.
I won't be here next Friday.
of all
Or
of
the
all
Friday
weeks.
afterwards.
What are you doing?
Friday
Uh,
afterwards.
So I'm going to New Orleans.
Oh, that's right. The New Orleans trip. That's right.
yeah,
dude.
yeah. I'm going to Jazz Fest next weekend, see the Grateful Dead on Saturday. And then I'm driving my sister back from New Orleans
I guess we're going to Sweden next November.
next November.
I'm very
I have family in
serious.
Sweden.
How come?
Because they're doing 4 NHL games like on a weekend in November
I
as
have
part of the
family in
international
Sweden.
game series.
You know,
And how
that's
dope would it
probably
be?
2 homes and actually,
If
and
we-
I have my
Can
buddy
you focus right now? This is
Adam
serious,
Glantz.
dude.
Shout out UB, Adam Glantz.
So,
He said we can
like,
always stay there.
well, that's great. We
Are
have
the
a spot.
Rangers playing?
No, it's Minnesota, Ottawa, I think Vegas, and maybe Winnipeg. I gotta double check the teams.
Well, why don't we just go see the
Um,
Rangers play in Vegas instead?
Well, 'cause I just thought it'd be cool to go abroad and to start.
Yeah,
and to
I
bring-
just feel like for me to go there, the Rangers have to be playing. Because I'm not a big like overseas guy.
Everybody has family in Vegas,
Really?
Michael.
Nah, I feel like
Oh,
you don't really-
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Don't you? Did you know
No,
Jamaica?
no, no. I'm talking Europe, Tony.
Oh, why?
It's just a long flight.
Are you on probation over there?
No, and I just feel like I don't know. I just
Brian doesn't strike me as like a plane guy.
no. I'm fine with the plane. I used to be terrified, but I'm fine.
Planes aren't that bad.
But I don't know. I don't like. And I know it's like stupid, but it's like just like the whole. I just feel like it just everything's different with like sports and stuff. Like just watching it and like I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just,
but don't you think we can
like different languages. I just don't feel like I have the patience for it.
It's gonna be they speak English.
They
in
do speak
Sweden.
English over there.
But I mean, I don't know. Don't you think it'd be sick to
Food.
do like a sports port tour?
That'd be sick.
Yeah, in the U.S. it would be sick.
But we don't have that, dude. Like we have 4 games in Sweden at the same
I know,
time.
but Tony, you're,
So
you're
really not
talking
interested, dude.
Ottawa. I mean, come on. Like,
You saw the Orioles in Boston play
and where was it?
in America.
You think I would go see them in Sweden?
All right, so how about this? Detroit Red Wings, love that, dude. Dylan Larkin, Minnesota Wild, Toronto Maple Leafs, and Ottawa Senators. Come on, like we have good teams here. November 16th
the
to
Maple
the 19th,
Leafs.
all a round robin set of regular season games at one arena, dude.
We'll talk about it.
Think about it.
Or
I think it'd be sick
how about we go to the Masters instead?
because that's
Ooh.
probably more money.
TPC
honestly.
Scottsdale.
Ground passes, if we win the lottery, not the actual lottery, but the ticket lottery, are only like $100. So
Why don't we just win the actual lottery? How about that, Ryan? Let's
Well,
just
that
do
would be
that.
nice.
That'd be pretty sick.
we'll have to plan all of this stuff out. But just a couple of things here. The Lightning did stay alive last night, 4-2 over the Maple Leafs. So they will get a game 6 tomorrow in Tampa to try to keep that streak alive of the Eastern Conference Finals wins and Stanley Cup appearances. What do you think, Tony? Do you think they're going to force a game 7?
No.
This is like the last swan song, a nice win,
Yeah.
but then Toronto actually closes it out.
Yeah, I think so.
Tired legs?
Tampa Bay, I mean, no, listen, they're obviously competitive. They're keeping it competitive. They have a great squad. We know about their talent. Leaps and bounds, sure. I just think it's Toronto's time. I mean, as easy as it normally is to bet against Toronto, specifically in the playoffs too. I'm just feeling it. Toronto, let's go, dude.
Wow.
I like it.
Kind
Getting
of
geared
no,
up for Sweden.
no surprise here, even though the cheap tickets, Knights 4-1 over the Jets last night.
Not surprised, dude.
Stevenson, 2 goals, the
Love it,
veteran.
dude.
So they advance to the second round. And then tonight we actually have 4 games, all with the opportunities for the teams that are behind to force a game 7.
Yeah.
First one, Hurricanes and Islanders. This one at UBS Arena. Tickets as low as 122. It's interesting how Prudential and UBS have these manageable tickets, and the Rangers are 4 times. And I know accessibility, all of that, but
UBS sucks, dude.
probably is a decent arena. I know the nostalgia, Tony, but it probably is like a decent place to watch a game. Like
Never been, so I'm sure it probably is.
yeah.
I would love to go, honestly. I do enjoy the Islanders. They're a great team. And I enjoy the Hurricanes, too.
Do they force a game 7?
Hurricanes, put it away.
Like without question, like just easy game.
What are you saying, Michael?
You guys should start rooting for the Islanders now, because after tomorrow, you won't have a team in it.
Michael, I'm just saying. Be careful. Be careful because,
Bandwagoner.
as we said, stuff changes quickly. So
Yeah.
I know. I remember we were down
History
2-0.
Oh,
repeats
2
itself.
0. Oh, 2. Dude, history does repeat itself. Michael
No,
is
it
still.
does.
Speaking of
In
history, Michael's
sports.
still no jersey. That's history right there.
Tony, I was just asking though, decisive or no tonight?
No, I think it's gonna be tight, close call. Give me Hurricanes 3-2 overtime.
You think the Hurricanes close it out?
Yeah.
Their defense has been really great, dude.
I think the Islanders were lucky to make it
floating
this far
around
after the start.
Yeah.
What about the
Floating
Panthers?
around,
We saw
dude.
the overtime victory against the Bruins. They're back at home. Do they force a game 7?
No, honestly, I think Bruins take a deep breath, realize who they are, how they've been playing before the last game. Still play physical, right? I mean, I talked about how much the Panthers have been really bogging down the Bruins by playing physical, got under their skins last game. I think Bruins continue to do what they've been doing all series, which is just hurt the Panthers where it is. Scoreboard.
What do you think?
Hurt the Panthers where it is.
Bruins close it out?
The Bruins have been playing too good. You know, they got to
Too well.
too well. Thank you, Tony.
Grammar's important.
Grabber.
Very important. Very important. Bruins are playing too well for them to lose to the Islanders here. So
You mean the Panthers, but yeah.
Panthers,
Yeah.
excuse me. Tony
And-
threw me off with the
and we're
whole
talking
like,
about,
grammar thing.
You're right. No, speaking of grammar, it's Kachuk, because I know whoever commented yesterday. Kachuk, whatever.
Yeah.
But I know I said Chachuk, so we're making progress.
That's
That
fine.
being
They're
said,
hard names in the
I know
NHL,
this
dude.
is a little out in the limb, but I think the Panthers, Sunrise, Florida Live Arena,
No.
fired up. Olmark pulled midway through the second, 7-6 Panthers. Spencer
Wow.
Knight comes up clutch late in the third period after Bobrovsky's pulled. How about that, Tony?
Spencer Knight.
No?
Not on the team anymore.
What happened?
Don't you remember he left the league for mental issues?
What?
Yeah,
No,
dude.
I wasn't here for that.
Yes, you when we talked about it, but
I mean, maybe.
Darien, Connecticut's soft. Not to say
I-
I'm sure he's having a tough time, but he entered the NHL Players Association mental wellness program.
Yeah.
And he said,
I think he
Darian's
came
soft.
Yeah.
Darian is soft.
I feel like he's back.
I'm sorry. I feel bad for the guy. He was
I know.
honestly a great goaltender too. I was super hyped for Connecticut to finally have something.
Dude, we have
but
so
you
much.
guys don't have
He'll
anything,
be
dude.
back. He'll be
Yeah, we
back.
got wiffle ball.
No, he will be back, dude.
Dude,
You know what? Alex
the Pez?
Leone.
did you know
Alex
wiffle ball
Leone will
was
come
founded in Connecticut?
Yes,
Yeah,
everyone
Sheldon.
knows that,
The
bro.
burger, best pizza.
I wouldn't say.
Shut the
Number
fuck
one in
up with that,
traffic.
dude. Honestly,
Number one in traffic.
No,
dude.
LA
Bridgeport
is
most-
definitely number one in traffic.
Number one
Most
in
parks,
populous,
most parks,
most populous city in Connecticut.
Yeah.
and most parks per capita in the United States.
and most heroin needles in those parks per capita.
No, that's probably San Francisco.
No
Yeah,
way,
no,
dude.
bro,
I don't
they
think
took
so.
that.
Yeah.
It's
Stanford
more,
has
it's
no
more
parks,
crack.
city.
It's more crack.
All right, back to
anyways.
the sports.
There's a bunch of parks. Anyway,
Yeah, but Bridgeport has more
so,
parks, more needles.
Alex
More crack.
Leone, the current backup tender, is going to come in, save the day, force a game 7.
Yes.
The other game 6, Dallas and Minnesota. Minnesota looking to stay alive here. You're a big Stars guy, Tony. I know you're going to say
I know.
decisively.
No,
they're-
dude, I
oh,
don't
really,
think so.
really.
Again, the Wild have done a great job by playing physical, bogging down some of the Stars. I know the Stars, again, veterans, youthful with Robertson. Tyler Sagan is great, dude. I think Wild force a game 7, though.
What do you think?
No,
No?
I don't think they
Stars
will.
do it?
I think the Stars are going to clean it up.
I think the Wild will force a game 7. We know the talent's there.
Yeah.
Speaking of the talent being there, we know that's there for Colorado, but they're in Seattle. Do they force a game 7?
I think they do too. Seattle's been surprisingly good here. Again, you look at some of the scores here, tight games. Seattle won the last 2, both 3-2 games, one of them in overtime. So, I mean, honestly, they've been exerting a lot of energy, playing great hockey, stringing along great shifts consistently throughout games, showing some great defense. We know how the Avalanche could score from basically anywhere on the ice with a lot of different players coming at you. So to keep the Avalanche to 4 goals in the past 2 games, I think is huge for them. But I do think Colorado forces a game 7. Again, Colorado's a team who's been through the ringer here. Seattle has not.
This is their first playoff appearance.
First playoff appearance.
for the
Never
franchise.
for the franchise. Never
Wow.
had to put a team away before like this. Colorado's experience, not to mention pretty lethal as well. So I think they forced the game 7. But ultimately, I could see Seattle winning the series.
Let's
Wow.
go. Seattle's cleaning it up tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to go Colorado. I'm going to say Gorgie steps up big. 2 straight shutouts to close out this series.
Wow.
But a fun-filled night of hockey. Obviously,
so much good hockey tonight.
Priority tomorrow. Talk about forcing game 7s. Let's hope the chips fall where they may in our direction, Tony.
Yes, which they will, dude.
I think they will.
And just before we head out here, let's just go quickly to Tony's favorite topic: the world of the National Basketball Association.
Yeah.
The Bulls LeBron James at the buzzer. He banks in the three, and the Lakers win the game.
All right. So we were just talking about some game 6s, teams looking to force game 7s. We do have 2 of those tonight. But before we talk about that, Michael, I feel like we haven't really got to talk to you too much about the Knicks, the Heat series coming up, game 1 on Sunday. Where are you at right now?
Jimmy Jordan.
You're nervous. You're no confidence in the Knicks here?
No, I do, but I told you they're first round and out. I said it from the beginning of the season. Remember, all the way in the beginning. First round win. They did it. And they're gonna lose now. And I think Julius is gonna struggle a lot. You're gonna hear a lot of murmurs from Knicks fans. And Giannis, there's rumblings in the Giannis camp that he's not gonna resign an extension with the Bucks.
But didn't he just sign one like 2 years ago?
It was like a couple years, and there's.
But I think he still has a couple years.
But there's a
opt out.
There's a secret opt out in there apparently.
A secret opt out. What are these NBA players doing with their contracts, dude?
It's ridiculous.
They're being
secret opt out. If I don't like the way I'm feeling that day, I can opt out.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm emotional today.
Oh God. Dude.
So yeah, I'm thinking that it's gonna be a 6-game, maybe 7-game series, and the Knicks will falter to the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's on a mission.
Strap your nuts on, baby.
Strap your nuts on, baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's gonna happen. Jimmy Butler went from averaging 18. I saw a funny TikTok. I sent it to the Old Sports, and it was
I didn't watch it.
Old Sports.
Him getting Jimmy Butler fooling everyone by averaging 18 points per game in the regular season. Now he's like 35 points per game.
You think he's gonna? He might tire out, dude.
No,
we saw it last season.
He's built for this. First of all, you did not. You're thinking about the finals in the bubble when they faced the Lakers.
No, I'm thinking about the Celtics.
The image of him bent over and all tired.
No, him missing free throws at the end of the game 7.
But that's a part of the journey. Now he's going to win the championship.
I understand it's part of the journey. Losing, he lost.
Losing is a part of it.
No,
I just can't believe, Michael, that you're just nice run here for the Knicks, and then you just because it's
not a nice run though. It's.
I mean, you have to take what you have. I mean, it's been 10 years though. I mean, you have to build something. You did.
I understand, but that's like who knows how long it lasts.
I mean, there's youth there. It's not all guys that are 40.
We'll see we'll see what they do. I mean, are they credible as an organization? Have they been credible in the last 30 years for me to just be like, oh yeah, everything's great. They built the foundation. They're going to win a championship in the next 3 to 5 years.
Fair point.
Yeah, no. I agree with that. I guess what I would just say is I think it's premature. I mean, I know it was impressive, decisive for the Heat. We know about the history, but to just say now they're going to just go right to the NBA Finals, I think there's a reason why they struggled so much during the regular season. That's all I'll say. And I honestly, truly believe deep down that the Knicks are going to win this series. That Miami's been flawed all season. They have good stretches, and it's not just about Jimmy Butler. It's about the rest of the team, and the Knicks have stepped up. So I know it's impressive to knock off a number 1 seed like the Heat did, but there was a reason also that they were in that play-in game. So just something to keep in mind. Be interesting series. We'll see. But I mentioned tonight, 2 game 6s. The first, the Kings and the Warriors. The Warriors winning that big game on the road in Sacramento to go up 3-2. Chance to close out here at home. And obviously one of the better home teams in the league, 33-8. So I mean, is it as simple as they're at home? They have a advantage here. That's it. It's over. I mean, or are you expecting a little fight out of the Queens, as you would say?
That's Shaq. I'll give Shaq the credit for that. I think it's over. I think Golden State's going on a little run here, Brian. As much as I know you hate to hear it, But like I said, once Wiggins, they got more comfortable again. You know, he's a game changer for them scoring wise. He not only does he score well, but the defense has to really focus on him if he's going, and that's obviously lights out for Clay, someone who's, you know, not Clay from 8 years ago, 8 years ago. So it helps him out. I don't know. I think Golden State's winning this, and they're gonna get some rest. And move on.
Well, you know who, if things fall the way they should, they're facing the Lakers. So
I know
that'll be a great series.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That's a series I'll watch.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see that, and I definitely agree. The Kings had a shot here. You have a 2-0 lead. I mean, almost it really is actually identical to what's happened in the Rangers series. You know, they jump out to a 2-0 lead, and then the only difference being they started at home. But I think once you give Golden State, a lane to go through, they're going to take advantage of it. They've been in this situation too many times before.
Yeah.
So I think they'll win decisively tonight.
Ooh.
You really don't think so, Tony?
Decisively? I don't know. I don't think they're going to win tonight.
Really?
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
Faltered. I don't know.
They win game 7, or you think the Kings win the next 2 games and advance to the second round?
I don't know. I mean, I can see them winning game 7 just because they've been there and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, you look at how they started this series. I mean, they look great, dude.
Yeah.
And some of these games were pretty close. Curry didn't look good to start off, I feel. And
so you're thinking a Curry chunker 3 for 33?
Yeah, possibly, dude. 3-3-3.
3-3-3. Isn't he 33?
And then second game,
number.
This is a doubleheader on ESPN. 10:30, Lakers with the opportunity to close out the Grizzlies here. I talked about yesterday how just disappointing it was. The Lakers make that 17-point comeback and then just can't do anything with it and end up getting blown out in game 5. But I think at home here, Grizzlies on the ropes, 1 game away from elimination. I think this is where the Lakers thrive. And I think a win here sets up, like we said, a great second round series between the Lakers and the Warriors. Michael, do you expect them to close it out tonight?
Yes.
The battle
LeBron,
for California.
40. Looking at Dylan saying,
40.
Goodbye. Go get your ticket to China, because that's where you'll be playing for the rest of your career.
Wow. I think he is there's gonna be the LeBron stare at Brooks 100%.
Oh.
Get your ticket to China.
I know Tony. I know Tony's on the Grizzlies tonight.
He loves
no,
Ja.
Stop it. I do not love Ja, dude. He's an idiot. But yeah, give me Memphis.
Give me Memphis.
Jay, anything?
Memphis, baby.
Let's go.
Ja Morant's going to be shooting it up in the strip clubs later tonight.
Yeah, shooting
oh
it
my
up.
gosh. So he's out game 7.
I think by this dialogue, you could tell, we're reaching the end here.
You think maybe we'll have like a Plaxico situation with Ja Morant?
One day.
Shot himself in the foot at the club.
No, it'll be a Gilbert Arenas situation where he brings a gun to the locker room on his team.
Oh my God, dude.
So the only other thing I wanted to mention here, one more update. At Vedanta, Tony. And speaking of Tonys, Tony Finau has surged to the top of the leaderboard.
Let's
here.
go, Tony!
Tony's a winner. 4 under through 8. Water jugs are full, Tony. Ruined. So off to a great start, following up 65 from yesterday. So I mean, at this pace, we could be looking at a winner that's over 20 under par, which would be pretty impressive. So I think it'll be a tight leaderboard over the weekend. It'll be interesting to see if John Rahm, who sits at 4 under, 6 shots back at the moment, hasn't teed off yet. Is he going to get into contention? We see how quick things can change. So would not be surprised to see that over the weekend. But excited to watch a little bit of this over the weekend. And unfortunately, with the weather, like we said, not too many golf windows this weekend. So at least if we could get some of it professionally, and we'll crown a champion and talk about it on Monday. But other than that, Tony, could you enlighten us on what's coming up on Screen Time?
Dude, Screen Time is
so much news.
Bonkers, dude. Honestly,
I'm going
so
viral.
much news right now, dude. It's pretty crazy. The amount of trailers we watching, just like little tidbits of news. The new Flash trailer came out.
Yep.
There's some soccer movie that Jay seems pretty hyped about too. Next Goal Wins.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Dude, it looks fun.
Huh?
What?
Bend it like Beckham's the sequel.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's kind of
Bend it like Cristiano.
Bend it like Mike Theophil.
Bend it like Mike Theophil. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it sounds like such a good
This is
title.
a guy who stretches at the gym, does flexor stuff.
Yeah, that's all I do.
But yeah, at noon, so quick turnaround here. in less than 30 minutes. We're going to be back in here. Michael will stay where he is. We'll be talking some movies. But
Michael,
let's go.
I'm not moving.
No, you're not moving.
Definitely want
Parachute Pete. Parachute Pete.
everyone to stay tuned for that. And as we close out here, I would say another great, as Matthew would say, Friday tradition.
Yeah, Matthew, wherever you are, dude.
Yeah.
Great Friday
Love the
tradition.
tradition, dude.
Wait,
Yeah,
Tony,
dude.
weren't there a bunch of comments?
Oh
No, we
God.
got through all the comments, dude, didn't we?
Tony always ignores comments.
I mean, what do you want? You want to do some?
What's Matt saying?
He says, Tony, do something. They can do it, and in regards to the Rangers, I believe they will. Just blowing a 2-0 lead when you score 5 goals in both games on the road, now down 3-2. I mean, it's a nightmare. Not acceptable, he says. This was a half hour ago. So
Oh.
I don't think we posted that one. So actually, that was a heads up move by Jay. Honestly.
yeah, sure, dude.
But yeah, like I said,
Never want to
great
give Jay's
show.
credit.
No, honestly, I love Jay. Great addition to the Friday crew here.
Yeah.
And
He
I'm
changed
super proud
everything
of him,
Friday.
dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, and he changed everything for the better. You know,
No,
I mean,
of course. That's what
there
I'm
was
saying.
a lot
So
of
I'm trying to take
people. There was a lot of people here
lightning.
who just didn't really jive well, you know, with some other people. And Jay came in here and just flattened it all out, squashed
Yeah,
the
he
beef.
farted and we all took it
you
in.
know, it was just
I'm gonna make a prediction. I think screen
just
time is gonna get a
farted?
little off the rails today.
yeah.
Just
yeah,
a little
dude,
bit.
just
But
a little bit. Manny,
Manny's
once
here.
again, would like to thank everybody for tuning in, continuing to comment, like, and subscribe, checking out the archives on the YouTube page. Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume.
wow.
As well as the merch, downtimetv.com.
What a
Spring
show.
is in
What
the
a
air. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Rangers.
Let's go Mets.
Enjoy screen time, and we will see you on Monday.
Luna.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.